Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to go over 10 mistakes I made as a new grad nurse, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. I compiled a long list of a bunch of stuff I did while on orientation and my first couple months off orientation. Hopefully this helps you guys not make the same mistakes I did. If you're new here, I'm Joanna. I'm a new grad nurse. I graduated in December and I passed the NCLEX in January, and I started working my first job as a new grad nurse in the PCU back in February. So I am coming up on my 1 year pretty soon, in a couple of months. So I feel like I have a good sense of things I did right and things I probably shouldn't have done. Number one, feeling like I had to prove myself by not taking any breaks. Usually in a 12-hour shift, you get a 30-minute lunch break. Sometimes people get like 10-minute breakfast breaks if you have the time. But while I was on orientation, I kind of felt like I really shouldn't have taken any breaks, and I had to work through my break in order to prove myself that I was dedicated to this job and willing to work very hard. Looking back on it, while I was on orientation, I had a nurse with me to cover my patients, so I really should not have been worried about trying to get work done while I should have been kind of relaxing and taking my 30-minute break. I kind of saw a lot of people on my unit not taking their breaks, and I thought that I had to too. But while you're on orientation, you are learning so much, and it is very different than school. Like, it is going to be a major shock to you when you start working, because to me, it wasn't really like clinicals. It was a lot more work. So when I had my first 12-hour shift, I was like dying for my break. I don't think I ate lunch until 4 o'clock that day, because I was just like, no, I have to keep working. I have to show that I'm really hardworking. I just have to go, go, go. And that was just such a mistake on my part. I really should have taken the time to slow down and kind of recuperate after just like a ton of new information and new things going on. I know now it's hard to take my breaks because I don't have anyone to cover me half the time, but I wish that while I was on orientation, I had taken advantage of just taking my break. So don't do that, take your breaks. Number two, saying yes to every available shift, even when there's no bonus offered. I don't know about your hospitals, but at my hospital, they will offer a bonus when there's an available shift. If someone calls out, if the hospital's surging, if they need more people to come in, they will offer up an available shift. Sometimes, if nobody takes that shift, they will then offer a bonus, and that kind of bribes people to come in. In the beginning, as a new grad nurse, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally making money. I need to earn all this money to pay back my student loans. Let me pick up every available shift that I can to get some overtime. That was so stupid, because little did I know, if they offer a shift and nobody picks it up, they will offer a bonus. And sometimes that could be like $50 every 4 hours, $100 every 4 hours, even $200 every 4 hours. And I was missing out on that extra bonus money by just picking up that available shift the second it was made available. Now I know to just wait a little bit, and most likely they will probably offer a bonus if nobody picks it up. I still struggle with this because sometimes I need the extra money that week and I'm gonna pick it up no matter what, just so I know I can get it. But there have been times when I didn't say yes right away to that available shift, and then they came back and offered me $200 every 4 hours. And that, for a 12-hour shift, is so much more money than just picking up a shift of extra overtime. Number three, thinking I had to know it all on orientation. While I was on orientation, I carried around this little notebook with me where I would write down every new thing that I saw, learned about, that I had a patient with. I would just write it all down. Let me tell you, I do not look at those notes at all. At all. You're gonna learn a ton of new stuff on orientation. You're not gonna retain it all. And that's normal. We're human. It just is good to familiarize yourself with something, and then the next time you see it, maybe it's when you're off orientation, you ask a coworker and you guys work it out together. Trust me, you are not gonna remember everything. You're not gonna know everything. Every single shift, you're gonna see something new. You're gonna be doing a new skill, practicing a newer skill. You don't need to write down step-by-step instructions on how to titrate diltiazem. It's not practical. And in the moment when you have a patient on a dilt drip, you're not going to be turning back to those notes and being like, oh, step one, I have to do this. I remember on orientation, I wrote down the steps of how to prime a feeding pump. I've never looked at those steps, and honestly, like a feeding pump, it prompts you on what to do. So like, I didn't even need to go through all that trouble. It was just wasted time, wasted effort. While you're on orientation, try to just see as many experiences as possible, see new things, see new skills, and familiarize yourself with it. If you don't retain all that knowledge, if you don't know exactly what to do when you get that patient with that certain cardiac drip again, you just ask a coworker, you ask your educator, someone else to help you through it. Number 4, comparing myself to experienced nurses. This one I still kind of struggle with. At the time, I was the newest one on the floor, so everyone around me was already there at least a year. I would get a little frustrated when I would see everybody is finished with their meds and they already started charting, and then it was 10 o'clock and I hadn't even charted one thing yet and I was still on my med pass. That is normal. When you're new, you're gonna be slower, and you should be slower. You should be taking your time, getting used to the way things go, especially on day shift when it's more of a fast pace. You need to take your time. You don't wanna rush through your med pass. All these meds are new. These are meds you learn about in pharmacology. Like, it's important to know, the 5 rights of medication administration. You wanna know what you're giving. You wanna make sure the patient knows. Like, you wanna go through it. You don't wanna rush through things, because that's how you make mistakes. Honestly, there's still times where I look around me and I'm the only one in the hallway doing my med pass still, and I'm like, oh my God, why am I so behind? And it can get you very anxious and frustrated. But try not to let that get to you, and just remind yourself that you're new, you're gonna be a little bit slower than everybody, and everyone has a different assignment. So your assignment might be a little bit heavier, and that's normal, that happens. You're gonna notice that sometimes on these day shifts, these crazy days, you're gonna look to the person next to you, you're gonna look at the other nurse, and they're gonna be running around like crazy, and you're just gonna be kind of having a chance to sit back and go through the notes and go through charting and catch up. Everybody's days are not going to be the same, because you all have different patients with different diseases and different care, and it's just different. It's always going to be different. So just try not to let that get to you. Number 5, relying too much on other people's routines while I was on orientation. Like I said, I was a note taker. So I actually, with my preceptor, I wrote down every single step that she did in the morning in order to have an easy day. Now, first of all, there's no like easy day. You can't predict it. But I would literally write down, number 1, print out cardiac strips. Number 2, stock the cart, or like clean off the cart, stock the cart, make sure I have enough flushes, like go through everything. That is so ridiculous. It was such a waste of time. First of all, you are not going to have the same routine that your preceptor had. You are going to find your own flow, your own way to do things, and you should. That's normal. You should not be copying exactly what they're doing. It's nice to like see, okay, this is what you do in the mornings, and kind of get an idea of what your flow should be like, but you're going to find your own way to do things. For me, that is coming in at, 6:45, seeing what patients I have, cleaning off my cart, getting ready, getting report, looking through their meds, seeing who I have to hit first, looking at vital signs. Someone may not do the same things the same way in the same order. So that's normal. You shouldn't be comparing yourself with others. Number 6, hesitating to call a rapid. This is something that there is this stigma around, that like doctors will give you backlash if you call a rapid for a stupid reason. You are so much better safe than sorry, and you are the nurse. You're going to be the first one to pick up on certain things. So if you have that like little sense that something is wrong, that something can go wrong very quickly, which it can always change very fast. If you have that little inkling, it cannot hurt to just call the rapid. In school, they give us a list of criteria where if a person is septic, if they maybe have these vital signs, a high heart rate, they're tachy, a low blood pressure, a fever, then maybe that's a sign you should call a rapid. You are the only person, you as the nurse are the only person who is gonna see what that person is like from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. You're gonna know they're kind of normal for the day. When something is different, maybe they're talking a little bit funnier, maybe they just don't look the same as they did in the morning when you met them, maybe that's a sign that something is going to go wrong very quickly and you need extra hands. Someone told me that a rapid is just like getting extra hands there. Say you're contacting the doctor, and this has happened to me before. Say you're contacting the doctor and they're either not responding or taking what feels like years to respond, and you're just like not getting a sense of urgency, but you think it's urgent. Calling a rapid will get them there very fast. And that is one way to get extra hands, get help fast. There was one time where I had a patient who went sort of unresponsive. The tech came to me and said she wasn't really sure if this patient was unresponsive or not. So I went into the room, we did their vital signs. They were not very responsive, like maybe blinking but not talking, kind of like just not the normal that I saw him maybe like 15 minutes earlier. So I called our resource nurse and they said, this has happened before during other hospital stays. No need to worry, she'll be up soon. So I was like, okay, like maybe that's right. But I remember from school that when someone's unresponsive, like you're gonna call rapid no matter what. So I thought about it for a second and I hesitated. I was like, I don't know, I don't feel good about this. I went to our charge nurse and I explained the situation and she was like, no, call the rapid. So I called the rapid, they got there very quickly and they got a CT of the head, they got different tests, LASIK, like all this stuff. And I was like, you know what? If I never said anything, if I never had called the rapid, that stuff might have not gotten done and then they might have not seen this change and the doctors would have just maybe blown it off because they didn't really think it was important. But as a nurse, you're the first one to notice these changes and you're gonna be the one to say like, okay, something's not right here, something needs to change. Maybe that they get new medications, maybe there's a new plan of care from this. You never know. Be safe and just call a rapid. What's the worst the doctors or residents are gonna do? They're gonna give you attitude. I mean, that's fine. You get attitude all day as a nurse, so you're used to it. That makes me go into number 7, not speaking up early enough when you notice a change. There have been multiple times where I just like may have noticed something's a little bit off. Maybe I texted the doctor and they took a while to respond and I just kind of let that time go by. Now I know like things can change very quickly. You need to act on it. So if you notice that person is not looking right, they're not speaking right, their vital signs are a little bit different, they usually have a lower blood pressure, all of a sudden their blood pressure is 180 over whatever, you can, reach out to the doctor right away, retake their vital signs. There's things you can do as a nurse while you're texting the doctor, asking them to come to the bedside to assess. Usually when something's not going right, I will take a set of vital signs, text the doctor, please come to the bedside, this is happening, whatever. Stay in the room with them, make sure they're not like going downhill, which would then lead you into calling a rapid. Don't hesitate when you have the slightest feeling that something just doesn't look right. Even if it seems so silly and stupid, it's not. You are the one who's gonna pick up on it, and it can get very serious very fast. Number 8, not clustering care when you're in isolation rooms. You are going to learn this very quickly. When you're in an isolation room, you don all the PPE, you're going in the room, and then you realize you forgot their wound care stuff, their medications. So when you go into isolation rooms, you want to bring your cart as close to the room as possible in case you need to grab a flush or something really quickly. You want to bring it right in front of the room. You want to don all your PPE, go into the room carrying all the supplies you need to do that morning care. What ends up happening is you end up not wasting time, but there's a more efficient way to do things. If that's, doing their wound care, cleaning them up for the morning, and doing their med pass all in one, you go in with the tech, you get their vital signs, do the medications, you do everything so that you're not going back and forth while you have all these other patients who are also calling and needing things. You just keep donning and doffing this PPE. I also think people can get very frustrated with isolation rooms. I've seen people who just, they want to go in the room really quickly so they won't throw a gown on and they'll just go into the room. But like you can avoid that by just clustering care. Number 9, this is something I also still struggle with, trying to do everything myself. I feel like most hospitals you'll have a tech. At my hospital in the ICU, we don't have techs and we have to do all of the like patient care and cleanup and everything ourselves. But when I'm in the PCU, we do have a tech. Usually they have like a lot more patients than us, maybe like double. They are there to help you. As long as this task is within their scope of practice, you can delegate tasks appropriately. I never want it to seem like I'm bossing people around, but when I'm really busy and there's some tasks I can't get to in the moment, like someone's in the bathroom and they're calling to get out of the bathroom, but I'm in an isolation room, I can't be in 2 places at once. So it's really great to have a good relationship with your tech. You help them out, they help you. If we have to clean up a person together, if there are times to assist, I'm gonna ask them, whenever you want to clean them up, let me know and we'll do it together. I'm not gonna make them do it by themselves. First of all, I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. I would want help. Second of all, you can't do it by yourself. You need help, and that just puts you in a really bad position. You know what? I guarantee that when you have a good relationship with your techs, they are gonna help you out whenever you need anything if you help them. So it's teamwork. You're not against each other. You know, work together and you can get stuff done really fast. You get a lot done. You get stuff done fast and you get a lot done. Be appreciative of your techs because they're there to help you and they are so helpful. Like without my techs, I don't know what I would do. Number 10, dwelling on past mistakes. You are new. You are going to make mistakes and that is normal. You are human. That is a normal process of learning. Nobody's perfect and you're not going to be perfect when you're first starting out. Bedside nursing is a very fast-paced, anxiety-inducing job where when you're new, like you are going to feel like a chicken running around with its head cut off or a deer in the headlights sometimes because like things will just happen and you'll be like, what is happening? Like I literally just stood there and been like, what is going on? The most important part of making a mistake is learning from it and not repeating that same mistake in the future by knowing the correct way to do it. Out of all the mistakes I've made so far, I will not make those same mistakes again, and I actually remember those things a lot better than some random skill that I've done maybe once or twice or maybe 5 times over and I still get a little confused on the steps. But that one thing that I made a mistake on, I will never forget the right way to do it. And it honestly like drills it better in your mind. You're not gonna make that same mistake again. It's also important to just not like sit and dwell on it and beat yourself up for it. Everybody makes mistakes and everybody was new once. Not that this like happens very often, but I've heard of different stories where, you know, older nurses will kind of like take a jab at the new grad nurses and be like, well, you're not supposed to do it this way, that's wrong. Maybe they don't really remember when they were new, but just remind yourself that, you know, everybody starts somewhere and you're gonna be an amazing nurse. I hope that was really helpful for all you new grad nurses. Maybe you're still in nursing school and you're just preparing for that post-grad life. New grad nursing is just, it can be a very intimidating, scary time in your life. But if you can get through nursing school, you can get through anything. You just have to remind yourself that you made it through nursing school, you passed the NCLEX, you are perfectly qualified to be in this position, and you are right where you were supposed to be. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want to see any more new grad nursing type of content because I love helping you guys out and just sharing my own experiences. And if I could help you just one little bit, make this process a little bit easier, then I would love to do so. So let me know if there's anything else you want to see, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye guys.